Welcome to the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. We really appreciate you listening. We'll be talking about everyday mom life with some pixie dust from Disney thrown in from time to time. This is a judgment-free zone. We know everyone parents differently, and we're just two moms doing our best as we figure out this whole parenting thing. So now, let's get this party started with today's episode.
Stare at you every time you take a drink. That Baby Yoda.
I may have switched mugs 5 minutes before jumping on Zoom, remembering how much you love Baby Yoda.
No.
So I may have had a different cup over there, and I'm like, no.
Doug, is it you who makes the luggage tag?
Yes.
And I have a Baby Yoda.
And now I have a Baby Yoda one to make, so I'll make sure I get you one.
You did. That's why.
Well, that wasn't a true Baby Yoda, though.
Oh, but I did
made
love
one
it.
for me, and now
Derek has a Baby Yoda.
I don't have.
I saw that, and let me tell you, I was jealous. I saw that luggage tag on Instagram, and anyway, I do have my own roped up radio luggage tag, so I can't
send
really
one, Doug. Make one.
I'll make you a true Baby Yoda one. I mean, yes, whatever character you would like too.
Okay.
I can hook you up.
Okay, great.
How do we feel about The Mandalorian starting up though at the end of the month? Do you think they'll be ready? I mean, I've heard rumors.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Like, who isn't ready? What's
2020 needs something, right?
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
We need a few things in these last couple of months to keep us going. I just saw that Soul is going to go direct to Disney Plus on Christmas Day. Yeah.
That's great.
So who needs a parade?
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably it.
So we have The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
The Witches, which I understand The Witches isn't Disney, right? That's just a thing. And then we have Soul, which I didn't even know was coming out this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So looking forward to that one.
Right.
And Ducktales season 3 is back up and running. So that started in September. So we got that.
Nice.
Yeah, love Ducktales.
Nice.
There's a lot.
My son has been getting into Ducktales recently. Yeah.
Yeah, my kids too.
Yeah.
Just drink.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Not you. No.
Not me at all.
Definitely did not teach my kids the theme song the other day after math. It did. Now my son's
part of music
it.
class.
Yeah. It was. It was a curriculum.
I was not watching Vampirina earlier and then realized my toddler wasn't around.
Yeah.
I thought everyone did that.
Yeah. That's a classic move. Mm-hmm.
And don't miss those days.
Okay. So refresh my memories. Derek and Doug, how many kids do you guys have and what are their ages?
3. There's a freshman in high school, a 7th grader, and a 5th grader. And that's not their ages, is it? So I failed.
No, but
first question. 14, they just had birthdays. 14, 13, 11. The 14-year-old will be 15 next month.
But I feel go ahead, Derek.
I was going to say I have 3 as well. What is it? About to be 9, 7, and 2. And that 2-year-old's about to be 3. And it's, the 3-year-old, 2.5-year-old phase, not fun. I understand.
No, two can be difficult. But I mean, I feel like you guys kind of cover each other's gaps.
Yeah.
Like Derek, you got the younger side, you got the teenage size Doug, which is equally as difficult as the 2-year-olds.
I often say I would not go back to the toddler age.
I'm in the potty training phase now, so I share with Doug the potty training ups and downs that we've had, which tonight was a doozy on the floor. We'll just say that.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
See, when the teenager's mad, they just shut their door and go in their room.
Yeah, they don't.
Nothing ends up on the floor. Yeah.
Well, there might be stuff on the floor.
Sure.
Clothes
yeah.
And
but it's not,
Why is your iPad from the school upside down and on the floor?
Why did I step on it? It's just there. Yeah. Different problems.
Mm-hmm.
Different age. Yeah. No, Jen and I, we both have a 6-year-old.
Yes. A first grader.
Mine's going to be 7. It's very sad. And then I have a 4-year-old and she is a 3-year-old.
Yes, indeed.
So it's
you guys need to join us and have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it.
You can talk to my husband about that one. He's very like, nope, we're done. Nope, we paid our dues. We had those kids. We're good now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should we do our proper intro?
Oh, sure. We could do that.
Maybe.
This is all staying in, but we could do that.
Oh, yeah. We 100%
Yeah.
always keep in the beginning tangents. It's what we do. It's our thing.
Usually the best part of the show.
I agree.
The tangent of the tangent.
I know. Oh, I know. And if you've been on a Dillo's Diz show, it is exclusively tangents, but they always come with the best stories.
It makes Angela nervous.
It makes me very nervous. As we talked about on the last show, we went like completely off outline. I have an outline for every show. We didn't do an outline, and I had to have a drink in order to do that. Like, we didn't plan the show at all. We had no plan, and that was a really big deal for me.
Yeah. I'm so
I don't know.
proud
How
of
do
you.
you
You
guys
made it through.
before we introduce a show, since we've already delayed it, are you outlined or no outline for the show?
Doug makes an outline, and then I don't follow the outline.
Correct.
There you
That's
go.
pretty much it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen, do you look at my outline, Jen?
I do. I have it up right now.
Okay.
If you see on the drive, you could see both of us up there
I
looking
do.
at it currently. Yeah. No, I have it up. I always do I peruse it beforehand. I don't go too detailed into it, but Theme Park Thursday will do outlines sometimes if we have guests, just so like we know kind of, we want to appear professional,
It's just
to a
appearance,
guest. We're like, okay, so let's talk about this. I mean, but
It's why Jen's good for me, is she makes me live life on the edge without
So-
an outline.
yeah.
You guys don't send out outlines with like PDFs with letterhead and bullet points and everything?
No.
I mean,
Neither do we.
No.
Yeah, no.
I do that. I do that for guests if they ask for it, or if I ask them and they say yes. I do that.
Right.
And I used to do that a lot more when I was on the Terrain Plans podcast. But Jen and I, it's just like a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
It's like we're wild people now.
Yeah, we're crazy. Angela's
know.
drinking on episodes. It gets nuts.
I know. Like, I have
No.
one drink. Like, man, who am I these days? It's like a quarantine me. All right, let's intro. Let's do it. All right. Welcome to the Magical Mommy Mondays podcast. I'm Angela Dahlgren, here with my co-host Jen Snyder.
Hello.
And we have Derek and Doug from Rope Drop Radio on the show today. Hello.
Yay.
Hey,
Hello.
thank you so much for having us.
Thanks
should
for
have-
being here.
I should have prefaced this by telling you guys that you could have totally interrupted my intro, because I did that on your show when I think I was on your show in December. So I should have told you guys, like, feel free to jump in whenever you want. But we're so excited to have you. And we're going to talk about your recent trip to Walt Disney World during this time of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know we were going to talk about that?
I didn't receive the outline, so
I just saw that's what we're going to talk about. So
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
ready. I got it.
perfect.
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
so you can't see this, but I knew Angela loved Baby Yoda, so I bought a mug while I was at Walt Disney World just to be on this podcast for.
Oh, see,
It's like
that's what
he
did it.
knew. And every time he brings it up to take a drink, my eyes light up. I get like it is a joy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Focus. Some professionalism here. If you have not listened to our last episode, Jen and I talked about a hodgepodge of things. We talked about life with 4 kids, rock climbing, and more. So if you have not listened, please check that out after you've listened to this show. Okay, so Doug and Derek, you are the duo that makes up Rope Drop Radio. If there are people listening who are new to your podcast, can you tell us about it and how long you've been doing it?
Well, we started back in 2016. We did not know each other at all when we started it. Just kind of, Derek contacted my wife looking for somebody to do a podcast, and she was like, no. And then said, but my husband might. And then Rope Drop Radio was born.
Yeah, we
Right
didn't.
I
there.
already have a
Something.
question. So
Yes.
how did
Yes, me
you So did you know his wife somehow?
She's my travel agent. So
Okay,
she
okay.
did all of our Disney planning, and I wanted to do a Disney podcast. And it's funny because it wasn't even what I thought I would do. I thought I'd do more history. And
That's work, Derek. You have to do research for those shows.
Yeah, that is a lot of work. And then Doug and I get on the phone. He's driving. I'm at the gym, and we talk for 45 minutes. And we're like, you know what? I think we got something here. The best part part is we didn't meet face to face until about 7 or 8 months later, which is crazy that we did a show for that long without face to face meeting.
That's awesome. I love that.
So you're on the phone. You're just like, did we just become best friends?
We did.
Basically, yeah.
Pretty
That's
much
essentially
now,
it.
if we're getting text messages in the middle of the night, our wives aren't worried about anything else. We're like, it's your rope drop radio husband, Doug.
Yeah.
It's your work husband, whatever.
My partner.
So 2016. So you just had your 4-year anniversary of the show then.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
We got cake and I got cake. I don't know if you did, Derek.
Yeah, Derek,
I'm
what'd
always
you
eating
get?
cake. I mean, I started eating cake somewhere in March, and I haven't stopped.
Is that just like a quarantine thing?
Pretty much. You just keep eating cake now.
Yeah.
There's no rules in 2020 anymore.
I completely agree.
That's so true.
Out of the 4 years, what has your favorite episode been?
Oh, I can answer this because we just recorded it.
Oh.
So Doug, when we were on this trip a couple weeks ago, Doug has a kind of a fear and motion sickness.
Fear. It's not a fear. It's not a fear at all. I'm not afraid.
It's a condition, Derek.
Okay.
Yes,
he has
thank you.
issues and doesn't do well on some rides. So our fans encourage him, with the help of me, to do a live episode from these. And so I mic'd him up. He went on Everest, and we did a whole 10-minute show where he's walking through the queue, nervous, almost throwing up on the ride. And it's now my favorite episode. Before, we had done Space Mountain on our last trip. And so I'm glad for our fans to keep encouraging Doug to venture outside and to do these things all for the show.
Not my favorite.
What did you use to record that?
I have a Zoom mic, a Zoom H5, and then I mic'd him up. So I have a wired mic, and then I just use my phone for some of the pickup with my own voice.
Good times.
I mean, it sounds like a brilliant idea, but I'm really sorry, Doug, because I also get very motion sick. It's bad.
It was, that was not fun.
How did you feel after?
I had to sit for a while.
Yeah.
I went back on the ride with his wife, and we had a lot of fun without him that time.
And I was still sitting there.
He was still there.
Yeah.
Did you take any like motion sickness medication?
I did. I actually was wearing a scopolamine patch for it. So without that patch, I'm pretty confident
he'd be dead.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be vomiting. Those scopolamine patches, I used one on the Disney cruise. And when I had my tonsils out, because I tend to get really sick from the medicine that they give you. And I don't know. I don't like how they make me feel. Do you have any side effects with those?
Yeah, there's side effects. I wear them on all our cruises. So I wear them a lot. And well, not this year, but I got a whole bunch that were ready to expire at the end of the year because I was all stocked up for cruising. So I was like, might as well wear one for just Everest. And you got to hydrate a lot with it and be very careful when you put it on to avoid the immediate side effects. But like after 5 days, I can't read anymore. That's the main side effect.
Okay. And is that because of like the hydration levels and stuff?
The reading part is just long-term effects. It kind of dilates your eyes a little. And so, by day like 4 or 5 of the cruise, the first time it happened, I didn't really want to tell my wife, I can't read this menu at all. And I ended up ordering the vegetarian item on the cruise that night. And the waiter was like, server was like, yeah, are you sure, sir? I'm like, yeah, I think so. We'll go with that. And they're like, and they figured it out that I was blind. They told my wife, basically outed me, and I had no idea they knew. It was great. That's what happens when you order meat every night, and then they're like, yeah, I want the vegetarian dish.
Yeah, like that doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
There you go. But I did not go blind on Everest. I just wanted to vomit.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So that is my favorite episode.
Yeah. Doesn't sum up.
Listen to it. It's 10 minutes long, and it is glorious.
But that is not your favorite.
No.
Obviously. Yeah.
I was going to say my favorite was back in December when we talked about dining with kids, but that was just me trying to,
That was a great one.
Yeah.
That really was so much fun. I still think about that episode.
It was a good one.
And then that rapid fire question at the end. Can we do that? Don't you do that with pretty often?
First time
all our new guests, yes. Yeah, we gotta get them.
I'm still stressed thinking about it.
You gotta learn what's really ticking in their minds.
I know. I wasn't ready.
We should set that up for our guests.
I know.
After
we should
today.
Stop being lazy and be like, all right, what's something fun we could do?
I mean, literally, I copy and paste it every week, so it's not that hard.
So you really had to think like one time and then go from there.
We've tweaked it over the years.
Yeah. Perfect. Jen, we need to try harder.
I know. We'll work on that. Where does your love of Disney come from? I mean, did you grow up going to Disney? Are you new to Disney as adults? Where did it start?
Yeah, I've been into Disney since I was about 4, and I grew up in that animation with Aladdin, Lion King, stuff like that. Disney's One Saturday Morning with Ducktales, and then I went to the parks at the first time when I was 9. Instant love. My family went every 5 years, and then I met my wife, and she's a Disney fanatic. So of course we honeymoon there.
Obviously,
no other place to honeymoon, really. Yeah. And we said we want to take our kids every 3 years, and that turned into taking our kids every year except for this year. And my daughter reminds me of that daily.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there was a pandemic. What can I do?
Yeah.
She's like, I will wear the mask. I have no problem. We will go. And I'm like, that's not the only issue at hand, but okay.
Yeah.
Right. Good to know.
I was one of those weird kindergartners that went on their first trip and thought Epcot was the best place ever.
Yeah.
That is totally a Doug thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the educational side of entertainment. The edutainment was just fantastic.
Yes. Living with the land.
Yeah. Were you hanging out in Innoventions a lot?
Maybe some. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. So I've really enjoyed Epcot. That's what got me hooked. The whole Imagineering side of things. Yeah. It wasn't the thrill rides. Trust me. So that was it. We went every couple of years growing up. Met my wife. She went every year growing up because she had to show me up. And so that's how the story is written.
And you honeymoon there too.
Yes, we honeymooned.
You did.
Yeah.
I asked. Michael. I begged him. I said, can we please go to Disney? He's like, no, we're not going to Disney. If you're going to drag me there the rest of our marriage, we're not going there for our honeymoon. So we went to Hawaii. I mean, I can't complain. Like, we went to Hawaii on our honeymoon.
That is right.
So, I sound so spoiled. I went to Hawaii. Couldn't go to Disney. I don't know if you guys know this, but Jen worked at Epcot. When she was younger.
Yeah, we don't have to say when I was younger. I mean, I don't know. We have to point that out.
When she was more youthful. 2 years ago when she was 20.
Less gray hair and
pre-kids.
Exactly.
Pre-kids.
Yeah, 2004 to 2006-ish.
Yes.
In the ish, yeah. Mm-hmm. Innoventions West in the IBM exhibit. Mm-hmm.
That would have been my gap of not going.
I'm
trying to think.
My sign's back here. My husband was doing stuff with the camera, but so behind that is the Thingamajig sign, which was in Innoventions.
How'd you get it, Jen?
You just walk out with it one day.
You're like, no one needs this. I'm going to take this. Okay, I'm going to take this.
I'm
right.
good.
On the sign.
Yeah.
Need to no
one needs this, right? We have extras. Okay, we're good.
I was going to say, too, that with my honeymoon, we were thinking of going to Hawaii. Then we were like, wait, if we go to Mexico, where we had been, but we're like, if we go back to Mexico, we could save so much money and buy annual passes and tack on some days on the way back from Mexico in Disney. So that's what we did so I understand the level because instead of going to Hawaii, which I still have not been to, we were like, let's go to Mexico, get annual passes, and go for a few nights on the way home to Disney.
I mean, you were just saving money, Jen.
Exactly.
I get it.
So smart with
Alani's reopening, so you have a chance to go.
I know. We're kind of on our dream board, on our vision board. It doesn't actually exist except in our minds. We have it for like the 10-year, which is coming up in 2 more anniversaries. So.
Oh, we definitely did do Disney World in January for our 10-year again. So just my wife and I.
Nice.
That's weird when you have kids to go on a trip.
Oh, I know.
Just your spouse and you. That was the first time.
Yeah.
Was it really? That was the first time?
First time my wife and I went anywhere since we had kids. I had a trip in Vegas, I guess, for a day. She came But yeah, first like long vacation.
Oh, you need to do that more.
Yeah.
We do have a trip for this January already booked at Disney World as well. So
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Yep.
It's wonderful. My husband and I went to Hawaii in September, and we did 3 or 4 days at Alani. And you're like, oh my gosh, we like each other. Like, this is amazing. Did you know we had stuff in common? Oh my gosh, I like that too. It's wild. I think we're going to, speaking of Alani, I think we're going to go back next year and we're going to try to bring the kids. We had a trip planned for 2020 and it didn't happen. So
I've heard that exact sentence at least 1,000 times.
Crazy. Yeah. So we're going to try to bring them next year. I don't know. We'll see if it happens, if, Corona doesn't ruin everything. But you recently, both of you, and I don't know, did you bring your spouses? You recently went to Walt Disney World.
My wife went and one of her coworkers. So,
And then Doug and I tagged along with them.
yes, essentially what that was like.
So it wasn't even your trip.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't the rope drop radio. That trip got canceled because of the pandemic. We're doing that next June.
Yes.
Yeah, this was kind of an explore, do the masks, social distance, understand that it is safe, fun, still great. It was a learning trip, we called it.
Research.
Research. Yeah,
trip.
absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Tax right off that one. Got it.
Right. I feel like that is very much a Disney fan person where you find the friend or like the family members that's going to Disney and you're like, oh, what dates are you going? Oh yeah, I could make that. Yeah. Do you need help planning? Okay. Yeah, I can go.
I pretty much told Doug and Michelle, I was like, whatever dates you choose, I'm there. Just let me know.
Yeah, I can make it work. So this was a research trip to see how is life going to work with Disney and COVID.
Correct.
I like it. And how did it work?
Went good. Went good. We learned a lot. And it was a lot of fun. Both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you stay on property?
We did. We were at Pop Century, partially because of 2020 helped direct us that way to the value.
Yeah. Sure.
It was great. And luckily, we were just hoping to be in the same building as Derek. But my wife and I got adjoining rooms with Derek.
You did?
Nice.
And if you don't know me that well, I'm an extreme extrovert. And we had a door between us. So I definitely bugged Doug and Michelle quite a bit on this trip.
Doug, how did you feel about that?
I've been social distancing before it was a thing. So, the extrovert, the introvert, it was a thing. It was normally my wife and I get like the worst room. Like that would be the 4th floor, furthest from the elevator.
Yeah.
Furthest building. That is the room we get. We didn't get that this time.
Yeah, my parents always get that room. I totally understand. And you're just like, geez, do they think we need to work out or something? Like, what's the deal?
You didn't walk enough in the parks. You got
right.
walk the room, right? Yeah, we didn't get that. And that's probably because we had Derek next door.
You're welcome.
Good luck, charm.
But
okay. Derek.
I was going to say the Skyliner line though went all the way to our room, so all you had to do is walk out our door and wait in line for a mile and a half.
And you turn around the other direction, you were at Art of Animation.
That's what I love though. Like I stayed at Art of Animation, and did I stay at Pop when the Skyliner was open? I can't remember. I don't think so. Anyway, I've stayed at Art of Animation when the Skyliner was open. And I love those 2 resorts now that the Skyliner's open.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I think they're both so accessible. I like the themes for kids. So I would stay at those 2 resorts even if I wasn't a DVC member. Although I became a DVC member in November 2019. Worst timing ever.
I became a DVC member like 2 months ago.
Interesting choice, Derek.
Right?
Explain that to me.
They had the deal going on. We had till sometime in September to lock it in. And my wife has been talking to me about DVC for over a decade. And it's been one on our honeymoon. And she does have a vision board in her office. And there is a big DVC poster that has been up there for years and years and years. And she has actually had a good 2020 with her company. And so we had the money to be able to do it. And we did it, and she's been crying and has DVC things all over her office now. And for her, like, that's like she made it in life. That she's
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Where'd you guys buy?
Riviera.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Oh, Riviera is so pretty. Oh my gosh. We ate quick service there. Like, that was our big event. We're like, let's go eat pizza there at the quick service counter. No, it was really good though. We have Old Key West because that's where my husband grew up going, is Old Key West. So he said it's quiet and he's familiar with it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I want to rewind. Before you even got to Disney, before you even planned the trip, how has COVID been in the Midwest? In your state of, can we say Nebraska? Can we say
yes.
where you're from? Okay, in Nebraska.
It doesn't exist here. That's the local government's take on it. Doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
That's the mindset.
No. Mm-hmm. But it most definitely does.
But actually,
it's awful. It's actually really bad right now.
It's really bad right now.
Really bad right now.
For Doug, you're a dentist too.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're I'm right there.
Yep. Right there in it. And people are just, I'm done with people. But the Midwest mindset is it's not a thing. But then there's the few of us going like, it is. Yep. It is.
This is real.
Did that sum it up, Derek?
Did I get it right? You nailed it. Perfect.
Yeah. Are your schools in person? Are your kids in school and everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Full time.
Thank goodness, because I am not going back to teaching second grade math. I learned my lesson in March. That is where my math skills stopped. And so now that my daughter's in third grade, I'm done. I can't even help her with her homework at this point.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, she's got to stay in school. I know.
It's so funny because I'm in Minnesota, and where we are, we have a statewide mask mandate. But
that would be nice.
I'm currently recording somewhere else that's also in Minnesota, but it's more up north by some lakes and stuff. And I walked into a shop to buy, I don't know, my parents needed meat or whatever. And the owners were not wearing masks. And I guess they went to a general store and no one was wearing masks. And I'm thinking like, guys, there's like a mask mandate. Like we haven't gone farther than an hour past our house since January. So our life is just all like, stay in the bubble, like don't touch anyone, social distance. So I know what you mean, though. It's just some people don't think it's real.
We have our own little family bubble. However, our kids play soccer. So we're real strict, but then there's the 70-minute soccer game where my son sweats on somebody else.
Do they have to wear masks at school?
Yes, mine do. Okay. They're at a normal public school.
Yeah. Mine don't.
You're at a special
private school. Yeah,
with like 6 kids.
6 kids in class. It's their first year in operation, so it worked out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's really nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Jen and I both chose distance learning. So our babies are at home.
It was either hybrid or like there are some schools around here that where like you're either all virtual or you're all in. But there's not too many of those. And I think it's more about the spacing in the schools than anything else. So it was either hybrid or all virtual. So we did all virtual.
And she's in New York, by the way. Yeah, just for reference. Okay, so COVID in Nebraska doesn't exist, but we know it does.
But the school knows it does, so they require masks. So it's like the state's leaving it up to everybody to do their own thing.
Right.
It's the theory of let Walmart dictate public health by mandating masks, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys have been pretty careful, it sounds, and staying in a bubble. So what made you ultimately decide to get on an airplane and fly to Walt Disney World? Because I know that's kind of the big thing is like, if you've been so careful for so many months, what makes you decide to finally take the plunge?
You go so long without going to Walt Disney World and you start getting the shakes and you need that fix. And so I think for me, and I'm pretty sure Doug, is just we had to get there. We had to go.
Yeah, and you have to get out. You got to go.
It's also one of those things that I really wanted to experience what Walt Disney World was like during a pandemic. It was educational. Hopefully we never see it like this again. So I wanted to have that experience.
Yeah, I can see that. What about you, Doug?
I pretty much along the same lines. Plus the research for my wife's business side of it is one thing. So she can communicate to clients. also, the other thing, so that I can tell people around here that like don't wear their mask over their nose while they sit at a high school football game, like I saw less than 5 noses in our 4 or 5 days at Disney World, where I can look around like at places where masks are required here and see more. And yeah. So Disney is top notch. I feel safer there than I do at home. So Disney should be more concerned about me coming there rather than people going like, oh, how'd you go there? Yeah, it was safer there than it is here. Agree. Be quiet, people.
Yeah.
I've heard that so many times, Doug, people saying, it's I feel crazy. So safe here. And last episode, I was talking to Jen about whether I should cancel my November trip or not. Mm-hmm. I did end up doing that. And we're booking for end of January now. We'll see if we have a vaccine or if it's a safe one or whatever. But I decided to just give it a couple more months and see how things go. But yeah, I mean, I've heard that so many times, people who are in their late 60s who have been in their house in Florida for months being like, I went and I felt safe there. So you guys decided to go. What was your airport procedure like? Did you feel nervous kind of leaving the house and going to the airport and everything?
Well, I've been described as anal with my COVID stuff at work by patients and coworkers. And
that's so fun.
I can relate.
So because you can't control some things in the airplane in the airport, they say they require masks, but I've seen how people wear masks. We wore N95s. For the airport and the airplane.
Smart.
And I feel like that was a good thing. I don't know that we necessarily needed it, but it was nice having that peace of mind. So that was kind of
peace of mind for me. Having an N95 just gave me, and it encouraged my wife to, okay, you're going. And having Doug, my wife was actually more cool with me going, knowing how anal Doug is. She's like, if you were going by yourself, I wouldn't trust you. But you'd
be high-fiving people and hugging people.
Usually the person next to me on the flight becomes my best friend, and we will. If you don't want to talk, I'm sorry, but I didn't get that on this trip. Instead, I had a stick, and I kept poking Doug with it because he was sitting in front of me.
He got the back scratcher at the Poly, and then.
I am Derek.
The whole way home.
I am too extroverted to sit on an airplane quietly.
I am Derek, and Derek is me. Like, I have to talk to people on the plane. Like, my husband will tell me to just stare out the window. I know, stop it. So cute.
Just showing off your mug.
The Baby Yoda mug.
Doug, question for you. Did you wear a face shield on the plane?
No, I did not. However, when we were picking out seats, we failed every time. We always had a nose breather near us, we also saw the one row full of the people wearing their N95s and face shields. I'm like, across from them, because they're not taking their mask off.
Right.
So you find the face shield people and you try to sit near them on a Southwest flight. But no, we didn't go that far. Just don't rub your fingers across everything and then stick them in your eye.
Yeah.
You'll be good. Yeah. And don't get spit on. That's just hard on an airplane unless you're traveling with your own children. They're the most likely to spit on you. And I just recommend leaving them at home.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like not being spit on is just good advice.
It is in general, pandemic or not.
Sometimes you can feel the breath of the person behind you, in between the seats, and
that's where you use Derek's stick.
Or when they prop their feet up between the seats. You're just ma'am, not okay.
You need Derek's stick. Always take Derek's stick.
It's a great tool to have.
Do you bring an actual stick on the plane? I need to know more about this.
I got the back scratcher at the Poly, and it came with a literal back scratcher. And so on the flight home, it was my toy that I got to mess with Doug, Michelle, the people around me with. And Michelle actually did give me a look on the flight, you cut that out. And I'm like, I now feel like I'm one of your children.
Yeah, you were the 8-year-old.
I'm Derek McKnight.
Yeah.
You were the 8-year-old bugging everyone on the plane. You know what? They needed you for the entertainment. Mm-hmm. So you made it through to MCO. You got to see the wonderful carpet. You got to go on the little tram, the monorail, and you made it to Did you do the Magical Express or did you rent a car?
We rented a car.
Okay.
Tell Angela how fabulous it was to rent a car.
It's pretty good. I haven't rented a car for a few years. When the kids were little, we rented a car a lot because it was great to for the afternoon break, just drive around and have them fall asleep in the car seats. That was spectacular. I didn't even care where we went. We just do circles at Disney Springs. And so that's what was my plan. If Derek got really crabby, we circles.
Give him a stick.
Exactly.
And then put him in his chair.
Well, we'd probably have to take a stick away from him.
That's true.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
So we rented a car.
safe.
It's so easy. I did Alamo. I did the online checkout. So we just walked straight to our car, not even a kiosk, which anybody standing in the line in the airport, I don't understand. You own a smartphone, right? Just get on, rent your car, fill it out, and walk outside. Why are you going to talk to a human ever?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I love the
my
introvert in you. I love it.
No, like the more you two are talking, the more I'm convinced we would be perfect Disney travel mates.
I'm sure.
Excellent.
Let's do it.
No, between Doug's like anal kind of type A behavior and then Derek's like, I'll talk to everyone.
Yep.
No, this is like my personality to a T.
That was actually the
You
hardest
too.
part of the trip because I love passing out cards and we bring gifts for people that we meet
Had some
on
buttons.
the rope. And it was just usually I try to pass out like 100 rope drop radio cards and meet everybody. But that was not happening when you're so
Frowned upon.
And they're not trying to
Right.
fill all available space. So I did not make a bunch of best friends this trip, which is kind of one of the weirdest parts of it.
But you
We're
still
just
have
stuck
the
with us.
ultimate best friend of Doug.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And he
Still
didn't get
your
in love
best
with
friend
me.
after being poked with a stick.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 kids, so high tolerance.
It's like nothing bothers you at this point.
Yeah, you're gonna ignore it, and we'll go.
Well,
with
it's
it.
okay because he's my dentist, and so he pokes me with all sorts of things in my mouth.
That's
True story.
yeah.
It's payback at this point.
This is true. I know,
don't-
but that's kind of his job. Like you pay him to do that.
You
So.
do pay me to poke you with sharp
Yeah.
stuff.
True. And my kids. It's great.
I
Right,
love
so
that.
what is-
And you said you're like an hour apart from each other. I love that you're making the trek.
Well,
just to
that's
have
how I
as your
met him for the
dentist.
first time. I was like, okay, I've never met Doug. We've been doing this show for 7-8 months. I was like, you know what? I needed dental cleaning. I didn't like my current dentist. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to switch. And I don't even know if I called Doug. I just called his office, made an appointment, and then went down. I told him I was going because then we could do lunch afterwards. But yeah,
that's the important part of the dental visits.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
He remembers
Lunch.
lunch.
Yeah.
Well, I always try to make it for the last one, and now I think his staff. It was Derek from Lincoln's calling. We better do the last appointment of the day so we can do lunch with Doug.
Was that actually the first time you met, though? Was you going to the office?
Yep,
That's
as a patient.
hilarious.
And then the second time we ever met was at the airport when we left to go on a 4-day trip. So we went from one dental visit and a lunch to 4 days in a hotel room.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, and here we are 4+ years later, still doing our show.
I love it. Yeah, we need to.
Okay.
I'm going to make a trek to you, Angela. It's a
One
little
of these
more than
days,
an
I keep-
hour, though.
I keep telling her we should go for her birthday in January, but she doesn't want to because
It'll
she
be our
refuses-
1-year anniversary of meeting in person.
I
which
know,
we've only
but
done once.
Got to do it then.
I know. She doesn't talk about birthdays, though. She refuses to acknowledge them.
I had mine a few days ago. It happens.
Happy belated.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you hit a certain age, it's like,
Yeah.
Except Doug, he had his 40th this year during the pandemic and during a random snowstorm in the
Oh
middle.
my gosh.
Oh, man.
Made no sense. Snow
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
April? Come on. Where
That's
are
the
we?
Midwest.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Well
We've
played.
had whatever, Doug. We've had snow in June before. Get over it. Okay, so you made it to the airport, checked into Pop Century. Let's talk about what did you think of the new protocols and everything? I mean, was it more like you kind of expected it to be different? You expected things to be, extra safe? Was it did you feel like you had to do anything different than you would normally do? Like, did you feel like you had to get to the parks any earlier or wait in line any longer to get in? What was that kind of process like? Getting in. to the
Yeah.
park?
Get into the parks? Definitely a little
Yeah.
different. Yes.
Okay.
I would say that's the biggest difference, wouldn't you, Derek?
I agree. I mean, you have temperature checks, you have screen. I mean, heck, the bag check is completely different now than it was.
Which is awesome.
It is
you just
great.
kind of walk
Really?
through, and they just randomly pick people. They say it detects stuff, but I'm pretty confident they're just like, that person, you're over here. That's,
I brought all my podcasting equipment in, and they didn't even like. I'm like, this is. How do you not know this isn't a weapon? But
But they did not like all
Right.
our buttons in Michelle's purse.
That's true.
They always had to look
What a
at that.
random thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess whatever, needle, but so entering takes less time because of that or more time?
Yes and no. Was that a good answer?
That's a
The
great
parking
answer.
lot doesn't open till like 45 minutes before. But
Okay.
once you park, if you're driving, it's just smooth sailing after that. Like all the
Okay.
way to the attraction queue, half hour before park officially opens, right? That's great. If you're taking a bus, once you're on that bus, it's pretty smooth. The rate limiting factor is getting on the bus or on
Yeah, the bus lines are ridiculous. I actually went every morning to check them out, and especially for the Magic Kingdom. I can't even explain how long that bus line was. And the Skyliner line, I have a time-lapse video of how long those lines get. Now, there are a lot of buses and, of course, a lot of Skyliners, so they go quickly. They are intimidating.
Right.
But it is one of those things where you are having to make the decision to get up a little bit earlier, knowing that you're going to have to wait in the most probably annoying line of the day, which is to get to the parks, and just being aware of that one. Instead of the days of shoving 19 people into one seat on a bus or 100 people on a Skyliner, you're going to get 8 people on, and maybe in just your party on the Skyliner.
Right. Now, I know it seems kind of random that I'm asking you about opening procedures, but I think it's something that changed a lot maybe with COVID. And so people are now wondering, well, how early do I need to get to the parks, or how early do I need to drive to the parking lot? And if you said it opens 45 minutes before, are people getting in line?
We tried that one day, didn't we, Derek?
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom. That's great.
We thought, we'll just sit there and wait till they open it and we go right in. No, we had to, they made it seem like we were getting in, but they're like, circle through. So we had to go exit the parking lot, and they told us we're not opening until this time. So then we went and parked at McDonald's and sat there for 10 minutes. And then we came back. We were still too early. There were still people being sent through, but we hovered off to the right. And the one poor soul, the cast member with the absolute worst job at Animal Kingdom. And there's animals there that poop.
Trying to get people to go through this loop, and people are just like, nope, we're not doing it.
And we were some of those people, but we weren't the first some of those people. We were like behind the initial people. So we weren't like making eye contact.
Society broke down for a couple minutes. And
about 2 minutes of just like, oh my gosh, oh my God. Oh, good, we're through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't line up maybe too early if you're driving, and then kind of bus procedures are pretty much the same at this point, it sounds.
Just be early. Check your park opening times because they're changing, and be early to the bus. That'd be the big thing.
Okay, so once in the park, because we've kind of covered opening procedures, once in the park, are all the changes, do they bother you at any point? Or is it more like, I'm at Disney after this long, I don't care?
I definitely think there's a magic walking back into the parks after being gone for so long where, I'm free, I'm home.
Right.
I don't care that I'm wearing a mask. And you're, with all the social distancing, it's like, hey, I have an empty picture of Main Street. That's weird.
I think the most irritating change of all of the COVID stuff that's been done, I think that bothered me personally the most, was the lack of chicken pot pie at 50s primetime. That's
there's a lot of restaurants that cut back.
They took like 1 or 2 menu items off. Like there was no steak at Kona's because that's obviously how COVID gets spread. So had a couple menu items. And it was everywhere we went. It was like the thing I was planning on getting. So that was awesome.
Like what you've been looking forward to the most.
And I swear all the prices just went up like $1 or $2. And I'm like, they're making up for lost time.
Actually, according to my best friend, who's a restaurant owner, she said that the price of meat has just like astronomically spiked to the point where it's like competitive with like vegan food prices. So, that could be why they got rid of the steak. I am completely speculating, and I'm talking about like the Midwest versus Florida, but maybe that's why. Maybe meat's expensive.
Maybe they trimmed all the menus. That was noticeable. And you don't get a menu. You scan the little code and it pops up on your phone, which that's great.
Yeah,
that's
keep
great.
doing that.
Yeah.
The kids, I'm not going to hand the menu to the kids to color. That'd be bad on the screen. But that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah. I was going to ask that of things that you have seen that have changed that maybe could stick around because it's kind of a good idea. I mean, I went to Rhode Island last weekend, and the restaurant we went to had the same thing where you scanned it so you could see the menu on the phone. I'm like, this is a really good idea. I think more places should do this instead of switching out the gross menus.
As far as stuff sticking around, I think we both agreed, Derek, that the character cavalcades.
Oh, they're amazing. Love them.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
It's like having a parade every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know they're doing that with like the princesses. And then I saw it with the Boo to You. Like they'll do just a part of Boo to You every, like you said, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. And it rotates kind of through like 4 or 5 different ones. And it gets fairly predictable, which is not what they want. But they do it at all the parks. The ones at Hollywood Studios were great.
Oh, the Pixar one was phenomenal. That Buzz Lightyear car, my kids now want.
Yeah, it's like a Matchbox that's full size, so that makes every little boy excited, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because we cannot meet characters at the moment. It's a great way to include characters and for kids to be able to see them, and they wave. They can't interact completely. But yeah, Gaston had his mask. He didn't have a mask on, but he was yelling at people, and it just gives a little bit of the magic in a time where I know as a parent, I do and miss having that character meet and greets.
Yeah. And I mean, at Hollywood Studios, and I guess Epcot, where would they do a parade?
Around the World Showcase. The whole thing.
I need that because I've seen Elsa.
Yep, Anna and Elsa have one, and they blast music, so they're coming.
It's coming.
Like we're finishing our food and wine, all of a sudden you hear like the Let It Go start, and we gotta go.
Gotta move it.
You like throw your food and go.
Well, we're already eating on a trash can, so it's easy.
I mean, that's how
that's how you do it.
Actually, we didn't eat on a trash can this trip. That was weird because there was enough tables for food and wine.
How empty the parks are right now. I wish they would keep that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
That's a big draw. Every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, but I really want to see the parks is empty. Like that is one thing. Yeah.
It is funny to hear people complaining about how much busier they are, which they're getting busier than they were, but let's be honest. Let's compare this to October 2019. It's like not busy.
I don't know. I went during the hurricane last year, and that was not busy at all. So that's still the lowest crowd I've ever seen.
Really? Even compared to when you went this year?
Yeah, we went the day after they shut down the parks with the hurricane, and there was just no one.
Well, the airport was closed for like 3 days. Airport was closed
for 3 days, so none of the people, all the locals were stocking up on bottled water and unbordering up their houses, and so it was. We went to Hollywood Studios, and that will be the least crowded I will ever see that park. There will never be a time again.
That's crazy because I think a lot of people are thinking that July on is the least crowded you'll ever see Disney, but people kind of forget around the hurricane times. Mm-hmm. But that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. So you really liked the character interactions. What else did you like?
I really liked all the people that I saw cleaning. I've never seen so many cast members out and about cleaning, and maybe it gave you a false sense of security, but I really admired that Disney was showing we care about you, we care about your health and safety. I mean, we see trash cans every 6 feet, and we saw someone cleaning every 6 feet, and it was really nice to see that.
Yeah.
I also like that the cast members all wore their masks correctly. That was exciting. That was, I mean, you can tell they're zero tolerance on it. And the fact that they're like that with the cast trickles down to the customer or the guests. So that was one thing that I really like seeing was just how good the cast members do that. And also a lot of the cast members that have interactions with guests are wearing face shields. So they're like way over the top.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's hand sanitizer everywhere.
Yes. And sometimes you have to share.
Yep, there's a
That's
lot.
a whole nother story.
I would wait. So Doug's hand would go underneath, and I would just wait a fraction of a second and pick up the leftover reserve.
The droplets.
Well, no, that machine either gives you enough to have for a family of 20 or barely enough for one hand, and there's no in between.
So
This
then you
is
just
true.
share afterwards. You,
High fives all around.
But I mean, it's
random
sterile, right? It's
Right.
like, it's clean.
probably the
Sharing is
grossest
caring.
thing we saw on the whole trip was the like pile of hand sanitizer
yeah.
ooze
Yep. Oh,
under each hand sanitizer.
And it's all like
it looks disgusting.
gelatinous.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
I
like,
touched it one time, and I was like, ew, and Doug's like, that's the cleanest thing you've ever touched in your life. I'm like, but it
I
feels
know.
gross.
Well, then why'd you touch it?
I didn't mean to. My hand was too low. I was looking at my phone or something. I don't know
focus.
why.
It just happened. Things happen.
Focus.
We can't control it. But he's right. It is. I mean, it's sterile. It's hand sanitizer. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like the cleaning, the character interactions. What did you not like besides no steak and chicken pot pie?
Oh, I know. Those are the big keys, right? The plexiglass is a bit intense in some locations.
Okay.
You definitely
think-
feel like cows being
Yeah, we mooed a few times. I mean, we're from Nebraska. We
I
know
get
what
it. I understand.
happens. Omaha steaks and all, but like getting onto the safari is exactly like loading cattle now because it's all vertical. I mean, it's the same dock basically. That's all they're doing with you.
I don't know if I'd like that.
Yeah, and I think the worst one was waiting for 3 Caballeros.
Yep.
Really?
I know. It's because it's older queue, built in the 80s.
Yeah, it's smaller in
It's
there.
more Disneyland-like, narrow switchbacks. A lot of those old queues have been redone in the Magic Kingdom, right? There's hardly any left. Yeah. That one, it's still there. Living with the Land has a little stretch like that. And I mean, it's plexiglass up to about 8 feet or so high. I'm not that tall to look over it, that's for sure. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that was tough. I also didn't like the souvenir shops, like gift shops. They try to control, hey, walk in this way, take a left here, circle here, go here, buy your Mandalorian Baby Yoda stuff here, and then exits over here. One entrance, one exit pretty much. But and they're trying to control the flow. But once you get in there, society breaks down.
Yeah, pouring is crazy.
Around.
Gosh.
Yeah, and with only one exit, it just really there's the one part where I was just like, why? Why don't you just have all the exits?
All the exits open, one entrance. So like the Emporium, you could only enter on Center Street, and then you could exit at each end.
Yep.
And that was it.
Oh.
So you felt kind of trapped.
Yeah.
Which made me buy more stuff. So maybe it was that
probably
reason.
is
The
the
worst.
point.
Well, if I'm stuck in here,
Hold on, I gotta take a drink of my baby Yoda.
Oh my gosh, I saw that at the Disney store, and now I'm regretting not buying it. It's so cute.
Worth every penny. Though actually, it isn't the easiest thing to drink coffee out of in the morning, but
Yeah, like it's kind of rounded on the top.
it's got the rounded lip, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Question about the plexiglass. Do you ever feel like claustrophobic when you're that contained?
I think some would.
Yeah.
I did not.
It makes me wonder.
It was just tempting to lick it or something. If you're
Who
a
wouldn't
6-year-old
have that urge?
would want to lick it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like the
my-
Winnie the
I don't
Pooh
know.
honey.
Exactly like the Winnie the Pooh honey, except clear and people are on the other side of it. They had the Winnie the Pooh honey turned off.
Oh.
Yeah. So you don't even walk past it. You avoid
that's
it.
the other thing I disliked about it. All the pre-shows are down, which in some
That's
cases
one of the biggest things.
We're good, I guess. But yeah, Mickey and Minnie's no pre-show. Tower of Terror, you just walk on through to the attraction, no pre-show.
Less scary
That is true.
Right.
for your 6-year-olds.
Rock and roller
It's
coaster.
ideal.
You don't get the
them.
hey, why do we got to go? So yeah, a lot of missing pre-shows that it bothered me at times.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense, but it's not something I would have thought of. Like, I know I've seen that on social media, but at the same time, it just didn't occur to me that the pre-shows would be not there.
Anything that creates that little pause and bottleneck,
Haunted Mansion, where it's got the worst bottleneck, they are
that's gone.
fixing that a little bit.
You just walk on through, which is really weird. That's probably the weirdest one.
Yeah, that's the one I saw that they got rid of, but it's just, it didn't compute in my head like, oh, So then what does that mean for the ride? You just walk on through and get on.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really anticlimactic.
Yeah. Do you think
no more
cavalcade?
stretching room.
Yeah. And that's like one of the best parts.
I know. I don't like this.
Do the cavalcades not draw people crowding while they're
For
happening?
a minute.
Just,
Yeah, they're
it's just
pretty
not,
short,
they're
right?
too short to really do anything too major.
Yeah, maybe just for a minute, especially like Epcot. It was basically you turned around with your food and beverage and went, oh, there's Elsa again. And
Then keep eating your chicken wing.
right?
Yeah, Hollywood Studios, I noticed, especially with some of the kids, there's dots all over the ground, one family per dot. And society breaks down. For
Yeah, I think anywhere on that turn near Sunset Boulevard where it hits that intersection's busy.
Yeah.
I think further down either way would be better. Animal Kingdom, it was raining the day we were there, so we did not get to see them, but they're on the water, so there's only limited spots to find it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Magic Kingdom was special, though. We were there on the day that all the fall stuff was released. So
that's cool.
Everybody that has a vlog, sad little podcast, was out there covering it. And so we were talking to one of our cast member friends that kind of works on the hey, keep moving side of things. I think that's her job. Is that official title, Derek? The Hey, Keep Moving cast member?
Hey, Keep Moving cast member? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She said it was like crazy on Main Street that day. And she's like, yesterday there was hardly anybody. And she's like, tomorrow there will be nobody again. So the hub might see a little tick up of crowd. But you're standing next to somebody less than 5 minutes. And you're all wearing masks. Yeah. So I'm not too concerned. Not like a parade where you wait for 30 minutes, you fight off with your elbows, and then people come climb on top of you, and then you watch a 30-minute parade. So,
well, those were the days.
I did miss them a little bit. I missed the fireworks, especially. So I am excited for whenever those come back.
I miss the dessert parties more so than the fireworks.
I've never done one.
Oh. Angela Dahlgren.
I haven't either, so join the club. I get a hard time too.
Were you the one that hasn't done Astro Orbiter? Is that, or was that, no, that was, okay.
No, it's me. I haven't.
Okay.
There are multiple rides that.
The carousel.
The carousel.
Just fully emitting all these things.
Not that I'm judging.
Hall of Presidents, Enchanted Tiki Room.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to go, like now. Well, no, because some of those aren't open at
I know. No, I thought I had done Tom Sawyer Island and then realized I just done the boat ride around it.
That's
so
enough.
I still have to do that.
You're good.
You're good. We'll give you a pass on that.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot. For working for like a Disney planning company for 6 years, I have a lot of rides I still need to do.
Yes.
I was having babies, okay? I was busy.
Your babies can go on these rides except for the Astro Orbiter.
Literally no excuse.
Carousel Progress. Yeah, we were on take the baby on there. Great nap time.
Oh my gosh, I love Carousel Progress. I do.
She hasn't been on Prince Charming's Carousel.
Yeah, it's that one.
By the castle.
I don't blame you. That one's evil.
That one spins a little bit.
Yeah, too much spinning.
Just do it one time, check it off the list. That's all you got to do. That's Tom Sawyer's Island. I went back on there back in January for just the reason to say I went back on Tom Sawyer's Island. I had like minutes to kill. Why not?
I mean, it looks like fun. Now that I did the whole boat tour, it looks exciting. I feel like it'd be fun. Like, oh, we have nothing else to do. All the lines are long. Let's go do that. So
now I can't remember why I brought that up. I had a reason. I was going somewhere, but
why not?
Just welcome to a Disney podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
we never talk about what's planned.
No,
that should be like our.
Where's that outline that I didn't get?
Yeah, we should be sharing our
like,
screen. Yeah,
I know we should be. Okay, so what was your? We'll leave with this. What was your favorite moment on this last trip? Oh gosh, do we
there are a lot of them. Okay, I'll say not only that wasn't my favorite, but it was a memory I'll never forget. Is all of our group doing the Millennium Falcon together, and I realized I am not as good a pilot. I fly drones for a living, and I can fly drones, but I can't fly the Millennium Falcon.
No, we cannot.
I can't either. I'm horrible.
I got better, so we did it a couple times.
Though.
Yeah.
What were you, Doug?
I did various roles. I mean, we went on it a lot. Like, what, 5 times?
I think 5 times.
5 times. So
Wow.
we did a lot of different things on it. And that was a highlight, was yelling at Derek for flying bad.
And then afterwards, we went to Oga's, and I bought everyone a round of drinks, and we were the only ones in Oga's. So that is another highlight because, during
It's
this
like
time-
the person at the bar.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's weird.
What'd you guys
being
get?
empty.
What drinks?
The Best Fin Fizz.
Oh, I got
Yes.
that. I can't think of what
Yes.
the beer is called, but I tried the beer for the first time.
Best Ben Fizz. That's a good choice.
Maybe you got the Jedi mind trick and you can't remember.
I can't.
Yeah, I don't.
There are a lot of highlights from this trip.
There was a lot. I mean, everything from the Millennium Falcon 5 times to Rise of the Resistance, where Derek finally saw a lightsaber come through the ceiling that he somehow missed the time
that
before.
I don't understand myself.
To me eating part of a fork. I mean, everything happened on this trip.
Fork?
Yeah, it happened. It happened.
I feel like there's just a lot that happened on this trip.
There's a lot to unpack.
That we might not never know.
I mean, at the Magic Kingdom, we did more attractions in the first hour, and we were basically sprinting from attraction to attraction.
Yeah, we were just
than
seeing what we
I've
could do.
ever done. I mean, we did more in that first hour than I've done in days before. So it's a really wild time to go.
We did 3 attractions before the park officially opened. So
Jen, is this hurting you right now? You look like you're in pain hearing
A little bit. I'm just missing it a lot. And I'm like, when am I going?
You should go.
gonna
Oh, man, I
go?
coughed.
Just
I
next
better take a drink.
research trip. Research trip.
Research trip.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Need to
so
go.
I do wonder how if anything's going to be affected with like park procedures and stuff with all of these layoffs. I don't know. Well, I guess that
I don't
remains
know.
to be seen.
they seemed pretty well staffed while
Did
we were
they?
there, right? Like
I did.
And I think we'd only see a real effect if they actually extend the hours longer, because that was one of the worst parts. Actually, was Epcot closed at 7
Yeah.
when we were
That's so
there.
early.
That was
Yeah.
weird.
But we're done at Animal Kingdom. There's no park hopper, so we're done at Animal Kingdom by noon. It's like, I guess we'll go back to our resort. I would love to go anywhere else right now, but yeah, no park hopper was the hardest thing for me.
That's a good point, because if they have shorter hours and there's no park hopper and you're getting all of your rides done so quickly, I mean, you're like, well, what do I do now? And they probably need less staff to run things.
Mm-hmm. And like usually when we leave Animal Kingdom early, we get the well, did you go to the Lion King and Finding Nemo? And I usually go, no, not. And I get a guilt trip for that. But this time there was no guilt trip involved because they are not open.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We should have went back to Animal Kingdom about an hour before park close and done all 3 of the major attractions again.
Yeah.
We could have very easily.
You
Regrets.
could have.
Yeah.
You know what?
But instead,
Maybe
we went
not
to
Everest.
Bali and, had a weird dinner.
Yeah, and you got a stick to poke me with.
That's true.
What did you have at Kona since they didn't have steak?
Yeah, good question.
Dude,
I got sushi. It was good, but yeah, our meals just.
I got the burger.
Doug and I
That
love
was
Ohana.
not-
Yeah.
And we were
I love
hoping this
Ohana.
was going to be at least a knockoff Ohana, like give us somewhat similar experience. Like we're right next door, we can see it, we could lick it if we wanted.
Yeah, it's
but,
not.
It was just such a disappointment. The pot stickers were a huge swing.
ride together.
Yeah,
is
it was gross. And
the
so
wings were. I
They're
don't
not
know,
real
from
wings. Let me tell you
Sam's
about these
Club.
wings. Let me tell you about these wings. Their wings used to be amazing. And like a year and a half ago, they did away with them.
They
And
got the
brought in
Cisco
these,
truck.
like whatever they are now. And I'm like, what is this? And
It's-
I refuse.
I'm sure
Cisco truck. That's hilarious.
it is. It's totally the wings off the Cisco truck that probably
Yep.
stops at my kids' high school.
Oh, that's funny. No, breakfast is really good. Breakfast is a lot better.
Yes, the Tonga toast is not to be messed with. If that changes, then
I just want Ohana open back up. I know. Out of everything, I think Doug and I will agree that's the hardest thing missing
worst thing right now.
Yep.
Is Ohana. We're gonna have to start like a swear jar for any time one of us mentions Ohana on our show, and just $1 is gonna go in, and then when it does open, because the price is probably gonna quadruple by then, we might be able to afford it.
Yeah, will be perfect.
Yeah. Angela, have you been to Ohana? Mm-hmm. Guys,
not yet.
It's my favorite place.
I've been busy, but we're gonna go there with Cindy, aka Disney Queen.
That's
at
right.
Some point,
mm-hmm.
Yes,
when
because
it opens for like a year.
She also loves Ohana, and her dream is to eat there and sit where like there's a castle view. Mm-hmm. It's like I've never been there, so I want to know these things.
Oh, we had that on our first trip, Doug, you and I together.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so
nice.
Yeah, piles of meat on our plates.
He even treated me to dinner that night.
Ohana. That's so nice.
I usually lose every bet we make, so that's
true.
That until this trip.
Yep.
Derek had to buy me.
Had to buy him a Dole Whip.
Oh. So you got dinner at Ohana and he got a Dole Whip?
That was years ago.
Yeah, different bets, different wagers.
I mean, the cost of a Dole Whip has gone up more than inflation, so
true.
it's...
Can we ask what the bet was?
Yes.
We had a bet for when Husker football was going to start. And
I see.
You said before our trip, and I said, no.
I guess who won?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we got football, and my son's watching a game right now. So
nice.
There you go.
Well, he's being very quiet, all things considered.
That I have soundproofing in here, so there you go.
Right.
I do see that. That's very professional. All right. Well, I guess we'll end our show here. Thank you so much for being on and chatting with us today.
Yeah.
It sounds like you had a great time, and it makes us want to go. What are your next trips? So one of you said January.
Yep, I will be there January 14th. So,
okay.
And for a few days with just my wife.
And
that'll be nice.
We're looking at Christmas break after middle school basketball wraps up. You know, the important things to plan around.
Sure. Yeah.
My wife and kids are going over fall break without me, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
You need to go.
I have to work, I'm told.
No.
By numerous people.
Well, you can't just shut down your office for so many weeks and then...
If I'm going to go over Christmas break, I got to work fall break. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But we'll probably let my son take over our Twitter account as if I'm there, but with the humor of a 13-year-old.
Nice. I'm excited for that.
I'm going to stay tuned for that one because that sounds hilarious.
Good.
All right,
Doug and I go again in June, so that's when that's the trip I'm honestly most looking forward to. Screw the families, Doug and Derek get a trip, just us. And whoever our listeners who join us.
See what Angela's doing? She's already trying to get in.
I know.
Like, that's like a Disney person thing to do. It's an Angela thing. Like, when are you guys going?
I know. I say it's a Disney person, but it's totally a me thing.
We had other podcasts joining us last June when our trip got canceled. We had a couple other ones, and so hopefully this next June, if you want to, we'll at least take you to one attraction that you've never done.
But we won't do Ohana's.
Yeah, that's not done yet.
No. Jen, we got to make this work.
We do.
We do. Can you please plug your social media so that everyone knows where to find you?
Okay. You can find us at Rope Drop Radio on all the things, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then our website is www.ropedroppers.com because we learned a lesson. If you have an idea, buy the domain name. There you go. Free tip for all your listeners right now.
I love it. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give us a review on iTunes if you'd like. You can find us on Twitter at Magic Mom Monday, Instagram at Magical Mommy Mondays, and you can email us if you'd like at magicalmommymondays@gmail.com. Thank you again for being on our show, Derek and Doug. And thank you for everyone listening. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find us on Twitter at Magic Mom Monday and on Instagram at Magical Mommy Mondays. The music you heard on this podcast was written and produced by Matt Harvey. We'll see you next time.